What's up, everybody? I got the windows open. My allergies are killing me, but it's gonna be okay. So, I'm making today's video about why I've decided to no longer work in the restaurant industry. Some ground turkey. I actually got some turkey burgers that were already pre-seasoned in that whole nine. You know, I have to still add my seasoning to them. Some peppers and onions and some Smurf bourbon seasoning. But I'm corning. Anyway, one of the things that I like about taking control of my career is that I have options. So that's why I can walk away from a toxic work environment and not have the financial strain. It's taken years to get to that point. But it's also why I resonate with employees when they are having issues in the workplace and they come to me and say, you know, they're not able to pay their bills because they didn't get the proper amount on their paycheck. That's a huge thing. When employees are constantly having to wonder if they have to get another job or have to work another job because what they're making at one job is not enough. A lot of companies these days, restaurants, bakeries, coffee shops, high-end dining, the whole nine, they can be very, very abusive to their employees. And I know firsthand because it's happened to me. And I've seen it happen to employees, and it's completely unacceptable. And the reason why they are doing this is because they've been allowed to do it. There's two things. They've either been allowed to do it, or they silence people and sabotage them to the point that they won't speak up because they know that people need their jobs. But then they come to me, and as a manager, I can't just sit back and not do anything. Especially when I know that things are not being done properly, against the law, against a number of things, you know, called human decency and respect. So when employees are, you know, coming to me that, like, for example, the baristas at the recent company that I walked out on. I actually saw many employees walk out before I walked out. Apparently there's an issue with their tipping. So the company doesn't take cash. See my face when I say that, because even the customers get upset. Why don't you take cash? This is the American currency. You're in America. Wow. And a lot of these companies try to use COVID as an excuse for a variety of things. Please. There is an ulterior motive behind why a lot of companies, let me just say this. They are trying to transition the world to be a cashless system. They want everything electronic. There are way too many things that can go wrong. One of the things that I recently discovered with a lot of these fintech companies, you need to be very careful with banking with a company that's only online, or doing business with a company that you can't get a hold of them if things go wrong. So when we do a closeout at the end of the day, it tells you how much tips, you know, came in. So if you notice that something's off or low when you're doing payroll, I will look into that. When employees are coming to you after they've gotten their paycheck and saying, hey, my paycheck is not correct, it's missing like $300 or $400. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to somebody that is paid on an hourly basis. And all the people in charge of this and making the decisions are salaried. So they do not care. They don't seem to understand that if a person is hourly, they're counting their money by the hour. They're counting how many hours they work and how many tips they normally get. You gotta communicate with them. The employees, when they come to me about it, the first thing I ask them, did they talk to HR? They sent messages, they never hear back. As a result, some of them quit, and more threatened to quit because they said, look, if this is going to be the way that it is, I have to go get another job. So it's insane to me that you won't take cash, And all their tips were electronic. And then you change the structure. Now, they tried to say that it was the POS operator, Toast. I know a lot of you guys know about Toast. There's Aloha, there's a variety of them. They said that they changed that automatically based off the type of business that they are. Well, why would a company just be randomly changing this without consulting with a company? I would think that if you're going to change any structure to how that company is operating, it's bullshit. There's something else going on. And when they tried to pass that information on to me, I said, you guys need to address this with the employees. The employees were not satisfied. They're like, no, this doesn't sound right. So they tested the theory themselves. I even had a customer. I'm a manager, so I don't get tips or anything like that. And I had a customer say, why is your tip screen only showing, I think $1 or $2 or maybe custom? They usually do a percentage. Most places, like when you tip by percentage. And the customers are telling me they want to tip more and they can't. Wow. I had worked for another company, which ironically did not take cash. And didn't even have electronic tips. So the baristas were really screwed. In terms of, you want people to leave cash tips, but you don't take cash. Make that make sense. And then additionally, it's just a button that you have to add to the interface for the POS system when the person signs to do that. It's not rocket science. It can easily be done. Mention these things, nothing ever changed. People left as a result. And they wonder why. Can't play with people's money. Absolutely not. People have lives, they have bills to pay. They have families, they have obligations. You know, and then they're like joking about it, laughing because they're salaried. So again, they're going to get the same amount of money regardless. And they just do whatever they want. And that is unacceptable. There's a huge issue with workplace relationships, sexual harassment, and passive-aggressive behavior. I know that a lot of these things are not just for that industry, but they're very prevalent. I'll tell you why. High turnover. For example, how are you going to speak out about a manager that is harassing you when they're in charge of your schedule? They're in charge of your pay. They're in charge of your ability to work. And then if you're like, okay, I can just, to get away from them, get another job, aren't you going to need them as a reference? I mean, know that. So they play games with people, and it's completely unacceptable. And I've had to actually help a number of individuals that I've worked with throughout the years when they were being not just sexually harassed, but harassed, discriminated against, treated unfairly, how to speak up. And what I have found from speaking up in my own personal experience and for employees is that they will then find a way to get rid of you because you're too helpful. You're too professional. Yeah. So I encourage the employees I work with them. And I'm honest. When I see that things are not going to change, and I know that things are not going to change, and I already know that I'm heading out the door, I'm honest with them. And I tell them, you are better than this opportunity. I apologize for the way that you've been treated. I do not agree with it whatsoever. And I am willing to help you get a better job. You may think that that's wrong, that I'm going against the company. Not when I see the company going against the employees, and not when I see the company then targeting managers like myself. Because several managers have spoke up to say, hey, we can't keep people with the bullshit that they're doing. Not scheduling people properly, running skeletal crews to where everybody is exhausted physically because of how much work it is, because you do not have enough people, because you want to let so-and-so go do this. Favoritism. That is the main issue. In addition to all this other stuff. Favoritism. Certain employees, certain managers, they can do whatever they want. And they've been getting away with it for two reasons. Either the people in charge do not know, or they do not care. I find a lot of times they know, they don't care, because they are the same way. They say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah. And when you have HR that's not professional, that does not investigate these things, because the first thing that I tell people to do before I help them get out the door, along with me, is to go to HR, to go to the appropriate managers. And I tell them, even if you're not happy with the head person for this location, they have a boss and you can go to them. And in fact, by coming to me, I'm going to escalate it myself to say this needs to be looked at. So then what do you think that that person that's doing all this inappropriate behavior, because some people do have sexual relationships in the workplace for favors. Literally, I've seen it all, especially working in the government. You think I haven't seen this type of behavior? And I worked in politics too? Please. You have people who drop them drawers faster than you can imagine for a few funky dollars, for a promotion, for variety things. Not me, not gonna be me. And yes, I have been sexually harassed in a number of jobs. I have been discriminated against in a number of jobs and sabotaged. You know that song? We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. Hell no, I'm not gonna take your shit. Especially when I work too damn hard. I see these employees working too damn hard while a few people can sit on their ass all day and pass themselves off as managers. They can't even get a fucking order right. Are you kidding me? So, one of the things that I decided was that I don't like seeing people in a situation to where I'm not able to help them. And I should be able to help them. And I want to help them. And I know how to help them. But when you see that nothing's being done, nothing is changing, let them go. Such high turnover for a reason. Absenteeism for a reason. People coming in late for a reason. They're not happy in the workplace. Why would they be? They know any little thing that they do is going to be criticized or micromanaged. But your favorites can do whatever they want. Very demoralizing. You should not have favorites in the workplace. You have your go-to people. Your people that you should know the strengths and weaknesses of all your employees and realize who's better at different operations. But it also gives you an opportunity to cross-train employees. If an employee is not good in one area, have them work with someone to increase their skills and their confidence. To tell them, I know that you may have struggled with this before, but I know that you can do it, and I'm going to help you do it because I want you to be successful. Yeah, that's how you make change and get things done. But when you allow people to just do whatever they want, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to keep good people. When other employees have to complain about other employees completely, you know, being able to just take advantage, they can go on break whenever they want, they can do whatever they want, and they're being told, oh, you have to work a 10-hour shift. Oh, no, you can't call out this weekend. Everyone has to work. But then they see other people calling out, not working, all kind of shit. Why would they stay? But then the thing is, the people in charge, HR, CEO, the C-suite, the whole nine, why aren't you looking at, why do you continuously have people quitting? Why do you continuously have people coming to work late, doing so many call-outs? Something is going on. Get your ass down to that fucking location and investigate and talk to the employees. Not in front of the manager, because I've had that. Oh, they love to come and they'll want you to tell in front of the person who's doing all this crazy shit to everyone what's going on. The employees are fearful. And they're not going to speak up because they need their jobs, and they know the minute their corporate leaves or whoever they talk to leave, that person is going to retaliate against them. There needs to be confidentiality to where you can look into different things and come investigate and observe. The best thing to do is observe. Come in that restaurant and spend a few days with the back of the house staff, front of the house staff, working with them, assisting them, and then pull them to the side and talk about not only their performance, but is there anything that they would like to discuss in the workplace. It will not go any further than that. Nobody's going to know. And look at, is this a valid concern? Oh no, that's too much like correct. That is too much like correct. Then when you have people who are known for being problem employees, many people have spoken up about them, including the customers. Why are they still there? And that's the issue. I'm not going to work with people who are abusive to the employees, abusive to the customers, and then in turn want to be abusive to me and want to try to intimidate me and try to find a way to silence me, to keep quiet about what I'm seeing. And a way that they do this is to start doing these inappropriate behaviors to you, right? So like, oh, well, what are you going to do now? I'm doing this to you. What you going to do? Get you the fuck out of here and the fuck out of my face? Because I don't have time for it. Absolutely not. People don't come to work to be lied upon, sabotaged, playing these little petty ass games. And if you're willing to be like this to everyone, you're not going to be like this with me. No. So I think about other people. I actually put the needs of everybody before my own. I'm like that with my family, with my friends, everyone. I'm a very considerate person. At the same time, there are boundaries. And when I feel like a person is trying to take advantage of something, trying to sabotage me and do these things, I'm going to have a discussion. I'm going to tell you straight to your face. I know what you're up to, and you do too. Trying to sabotage me is not going to work out in your favor. I know what you've been doing with these employees. That's highly inappropriate, and it's going to stop. And then, I already have exit strategy. Because if they've been allowed to do this, I don't expect human resources to be any different. So then, I find out what the tea is from other locations. Hey, I'll talk to you guys to see. I've been noticing these issues, and I don't mention names, but have you guys experienced this? And you'd be surprised at things people will tell you. Absolutely. And, so when I see that HR is disconnected, CEO, corporate, all these managers, too many layers of managers that don't know what they're doing, that do not care. Time to go. You want to know the honest truth? Why I didn't want to work in management anymore in restaurants? Because I know as a barista or server, I can make more money. Oh yeah, I have great personality. And depending on the area that you work in, working in a high-end area where people have more disposable income, they're more willing to tip more. I literally had people still tip me in the normal manager. That's the crazy part. They'll still give me cash. You think I'm not going to take it? One lady, one of the dishwashers, this guy thought he left his iPhone in the bathroom, and she found it. He gave her a $50 tip. Do you know some managers would have taken that tip and told her she couldn't have it? I said, look, hurry up, put that money in your pocket. That money is for you. You deserve it. He gave it to you for what you've done. So, absolutely. She's like, she was so happy. And I was so happy that she was so happy. $50 is not a little bit amount of money. I'm glad that it went to somebody who appreciated it and that works hard. Well, on with the baristas, you have some that do exceptional jobs, some that do whatever they want, right? But they all have pulled tips. So some are getting the benefits off the backs of others. That's not acceptable. It's out of my control. There have been times, especially when I worked at the other place where they only took cash tips and electronic, I just tipped them. I tipped them myself because I realized that, hey, you're valuable and I want you to recognize some compensation. And then the company, they had a policy where they would allow the shift managers to take the tips. The only time I would have taken the tips was when I was literally forced to stay on par the entire shift. Then those are my tips, And I would have to take my tips for the other shift managers who didn't do shit, who certainly went out in the bar or in the kitchen like I was, which I think they're getting a cut of the tips, or try to take it in the back and divvy it up with who they wanted to divvy it up to. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A lot of times I find that when a manager is intimidated by you, they will use other employees, or not even, you don't even have to be a manager. Let's just say you've spoken up about a manager. They will use their buddies, their friends in the workplace to do things to you. It's called gang stalking. It's called workplace mobbing. These are actual things that occur to people. And I know because they've happened to me and they've happened to other people. I've seen people pushed out of their jobs, good people, hardworking individuals, by jealous, petty, immature, slacking off individuals. And they think it's a game. I've actually seen when I worked in the government, ironically, And so I got a good start about how EEOC works, because I worked in that department for the Office of the Chief Counsel, where I was helping the agency represent itself against the employees who are filing these claims. Whistleblower claims, sexual harassment, discrimination, a whole variety of things. And when you start reading the facts of the case and what a person has experienced and been through, I have a conscience. I have a soul. I said, I'm on the wrong side here. I am helping the government cover up what they're doing to their own employees of every background, every color. One thing about me is that even though I've experienced racism, extreme racism and discrimination, I don't hold that against everyone. And I will still help a person who does not look like me, who does not speak like me, because that is the human thing to do. And to bring in that human element to work, to say, we're all human beings. We all deserve respect. We all deserve dignity. Absolutely. It was just something that's like, I cannot do this. And I started realizing that because I was very passionate in my career, a rising star, I started being targeted by some of the same individuals that are in these fucking lawsuits, that are in these complaints. So it is an issue, and it's been continuously an issue. Fortunately, I learned what to do by individuals who had already gone through. They knew that I was next. They said, look, you're too pretty. Yes, I am. Because beauty inside, beauty outside. You are too smart. You're too nice. You're too professional. You make people who are not willing to help people uncomfortable. You show what they're not doing. And then all these people had been sabotaged before me, had been targeted, so they knew what they were talking about. It just hurts my heart, seriously, to know that this happens to people all the time. So I outsmarted the government. I mean, after all, they hired me for a reason. Correct. They actually taught me everything that I needed to know about how to win an EEOC case, what evidence they look for, who was informed about what issues, how were they informed, do you have enough records? And so I would then work with these employees in HR to say, look, when somebody brings to you a complaint, it's not up to you to decide. That is not your position. You're supposed to investigate, gather the facts, and to not be biased. But here's the thing with HR. Doesn't HR report to the same individuals that you would report to in terms of your pay? Yes. So if the CEO comes down and says, you're going to cover that up, what do you think the HR director is going to do? Cover it up. You're going to deny that claim. You're going to find a way to get this person fired, because that's what the government had got caught doing with a number of employees. And do you know how long EEOC takes and how much money and time that it takes? A lot, which is why a lot of people don't go through with it. They either stick it out or they get another job. Do you know how hard it is to get another job when maybe the past 5 or 10 years you've been working for that one employer? Yeah, I learned about that in the military as well. So in the restaurant industry, it's really no different, except for most employees are not told that they can go to HR. Most employees are not told that they can file an EEOC complaint, that they can go outside of the company. Most of the time, you're going to have to go outside the company. Going through the chain of command, unless it's a good company that takes these things seriously and appropriately deals with these situations, you're not going to get anywhere. In fact, you're going to be targeted. You're going to be sabotaged. I've seen it happen to so many people. And to see such evilness in individuals who laugh, who mock, who say, yep, we got rid of them. I turn around, I said, don't think that you won't be next. Because one thing, when you're willing to take down people, to sabotage them, what do you think is going to happen to you one day? In a sense, it's like gang culture, to where the leader tells you, you're going to go do these things to these people, or this person, or whatever. And if you don't do them, then it's going to happen to you. You know, too many cowards, I would say. So I just decided this isn't going to work. Too chaotic, too hectic. There's not enough protections in place for employees to have a fair workplace. I had to deal with another company. They weren't paying the employees and just telling them that they still have to keep coming to work. No work? Wait, no pay, no work. It's just that simple. And when an employee is telling me in a group chat, telling everyone, she hasn't been paid in weeks. I'm like, damn, this could happen to me. It sure enough did. And then I had to go to HR, who completely tried to gaslight me and play these games. I said, look here, what you've done is called wage theft, which means I can file a complaint against you and on behalf of that other employee. When people work, you have to pay them. It has been several weeks this woman was not paid. It has been several weeks I was not paid. So do not make these issues. You did not give me a clock in, which is a huge issue right there, because why wouldn't I have a clock in? I'm on the schedule. I'm an actual employee. Just so many things wrong. And I decided, why am I putting up with this? Just like I tell the employees that, you know, there's other opportunities for them. I help them. Say, let me see your resume. Let me tell you some things you can put on your resume about what you're doing. Better ways to describe it. I can make a janitor's job look glorious, because it's about speaking about the importance of it and how it affects the operations, you know. Dishwashers are valuable people. Cooks are valuable people. Anybody that does a job is valuable. And for them to be mistreated and talked about and disrespected and so many things wrong, I am not going to be a part of that. Absolutely not. So at first I was like, well, I just need to be the, you know, cafe manager or the store manager. That's probably going to be even worse. You know why? Because who do you think is going to have to do all the work when you're being told you got to send people home? You. Who do you think is going to have pushback from the CEO in the corporate offices, in the HR, whatever the case may be? You. Because they're going to make the decisions that are not aligned with what is actually occurring in the locations and what is to the actual benefit. And they seem to think, oh, what are you going to do? Well, maybe you fucked with the wrong one. And maybe you fucked with the wrong employees who know a good lawyer, necesito abogado, and that they have an ability to speak up. That's why they don't want unions. I actually worked at Sodexo with a whole union issue where the people that had tenure could do whatever they want to the employees. And then obviously the newer people didn't even know that they were in a union, did not know that they were supposed to have access to a labor rep, whether they pay dues or not. Because part of the agreement, which I did not agree with, is that if you are employed by Sodexo, then you're automatically in the union. You cannot force people to participate in a union. But if you are, then you need to give them the same representation that you're giving everyone. And that a lot of times, a lot of people hide behind the union rep to give favoritism. That's unacceptable. But on the other hand, I do feel that a component of units are necessary and needed to have somebody outside that can come in and investigate to help represent you. You ever been a police officer? Go ask some police officers about how important a union rep is. In the government, you don't really have unions, a union rep, so to speak. So you're a bit more vulnerable in that sense. So at the end of the day, I had to decide, what did I want to do about all these issues? Because every time I would bring something to the general manager, he gets more passive aggressive with me and the employees. So I don't want to see the employees retaliated against. And I want to know who said what. You don't need to know that, because I don't feel that you're in a position to where you're going to be unbiased, you know. Then I pass it along above his head. It's just as worse. So who has time to be dealing with that? Not me. And then I realized that, you know, this is not what I want to do. This is not where I want to be. I like things to run properly. I like to have the right systems in place. And also, organization And having the technology skills, what I find is that the company itself is either ancient with their technology, or they have the people in place, the managers, who don't know how to do it, don't want to do it, don't care about doing it, don't realize the importance of having internally things. But when the companies don't have the proper training, robust training, you should have training manuals for every aspect of your operation, written procedures, your SOPs, and you should have this information accessible to the people who are going to be trained. Stop relying on busy employees to train new employees. Do you know how fucking frustrating that is for the employees? And I see it, and I know. That's why I would step in and assist to make sure that employees got the training that they needed in their hands on time. Because if a cook has to train another cook, how are they going to get their job done? How are they going to get their production and their deadlines and goals met? Then some people are good at training, some people are not. You should always have a training program where you have specific people who that is their job. Their job is to come in and train people alongside of the people that are working. You're putting way too much pressure on your employees. You know, burnout is real. I would get tired and I did get tired of having to constantly train, this is before I became a manager in different areas, other employees that don't even stay long, that don't even care. It's like too much turnover, like really. And then, are you being paid extra to train people? No, you're not, and you should be. Let that sink in. And then the thing that I found with restaurants, why are you having people come in during your busiest times to do training? You know that there's not enough time to adequately train. I've even had some managers come to me and apologize and say, I know it's too busy to train you. And then I wind up just having to jump in and just fill roles and do my own kind of training as we go along by asking questions, looking for documents, even creating my own manual when there's not one. So it's just perplexing to me how companies feel that this is a proper way to run operations, right? And most of them do not have any business experience. And even the ones that do, it's like, wow. Did you pay for your degree? You know, that's the thing, guys. People don't know. There are actually people who have literally paid for their degree or their certification, and they weren't qualified for it. Or they don't have what they say that they have, clearly. So, at the end of the day, I'm going back to doing what I like to do, which is working for different companies, working for different clients, working remotely. There are times where, yeah, like this weekend, I have a couple events that I have to go do. No problem. It gives me flexibility. I'm not stuck in a restaurant for 10, 12 hours. I'm not stuck there day and night if people don't come to work, if there's so much work that has to be done. I'm not being told that our hours are over, but you must get all this work done. So this means I have to work up the clock. Unfair. Or work through my break. So many people don't even get a break in restaurants. One lady told me that her manager only gives them a 15-minute break, and then they still have to be doing stuff like folding napkins and silverware. That's not a break. A break. So let's get to this real quick. Different jurisdictions have different breaks. Different laws about their breaks. Some jurisdictions like Virginia, they don't have to give you a break. They recommend it, unless you know you're a teenager, they recommend it, but they say that they don't have to. That's a serious issue. I feel whatever kind of job that you do, at a bare minimum, after 5.5, 6 hours, you need a break. And to deny employees that, they're telling me that they work, and I know that they're working so hard to get everything done, they cannot take a break, because then they won't get everything done because of the way that their schedule is written. Completely unacceptable. I let employees take breaks. I said, I don't know how other managers run their shifts, but when you are working with me and you need a break, I highly recommend that you take a break. And I will come to you and ask you, would you like to take a break? And I will cover your duties for you. Because it is important that you're able to, I mean, literally, and this happened to me. Within 2 weeks, I quickly saw this is not going to work out. It's so busy. Taking a break is a fucking joke. I literally just have to go in a corner somewhere, eat a couple bites of something, take a couple sips of something, and then get on with my day. Which is why I had been feeling lightheaded, dizzy, stressed out. I would even bring my food just because that's why I would bring different quickly items like granola bars, protein bars, fruit, smoothies, stuff like that. Because I know I would not have a chance to have a break. And the other employees are not taking breaks. So that's why a lot of employees like working with me, because I care about them. I care about them as an employee. I care about them as a human being. When they come to me about stuff, hey, I didn't get my benefits. Let me follow up with that. You know, or the HR is not even telling people that they have benefits, but then they're saying, oh, well, today's the deadline. They must get this done. You haven't even sat down and explained to them what the benefits are, how much they cost. At least put it in a document and email it to them. Hey, today, you know, you got to have this done, or let them know. I'm doing HR's work. I'm doing the CEO's work. I'm doing everybody's work. I cannot do everybody's work. I'm not going to do everyone's work. And that's what I quickly saw just only 2 weeks out of training at my new restaurant. Because first of all, the training was terrible. Horrible, completely. I kept getting called off my training to go be a barista, to go be a dishwasher, to go be a server, to go do everything other than what I'm supposed to be doing. And a lot of times it was done on purpose. I was left in the restaurant by myself, the only manager, and I'm still in training. So thank God I know what the fuck to do just in general, you know, and that's unacceptable because you want to leave or you want to go do something or you don't want to do the training. So you find every excuse. And then the way that they talk to people. How you speak to people matters. Your tone, for sure. In written communication, people need to be conscious of it because it can be misconstrued or interpreted a variety of ways. But also when you're talking to people, you know, yelling at them, snapping at them, being passive aggressive with them, over talking them, it's all happened to me. That's how I know how to deal with it. And that's how I know how to help employees deal with it. So I realized that this was just not going. I mean, I was literally, first of all, they already knew that the general manager was fucking up. Everybody in the company knew. That's part of why they hired me to come in. However, the regional manager should have done the things that needed to be done because he was the one that hired me. He was the one who told me about the issues. And he had just recently got promoted. His first day as a regional manager, he should have been at that fucking store looking into everything and getting everything fixed. So that way, by the time I got there, things would have been up to standard. But nope, but the thing about him, he would warn me every day, oh, you're not going to like this, or what's this going on? But he's barely been there himself. So it's kind of like you sabotage me with not giving me all my training. You literally put me in a location that's double the sales, double the volume without doing the training. But said they were going to be there for 4 fucking days to do the training. Did not fucking happen. But then you want to come nitpick about something. The barista left early. I let them go early. They were fucking tired. They've been here for 10 hours. Let me tell you the funny part. I specifically said, I'm not interested in working late nights anymore. So I prefer the morning shift. Who do you think kept getting stuck on the late nights? Me. And then they increased their hours by a whole hour, and I'm already commuting, and they knew that. They knew that I really didn't want to commute. That's why I applied for a location near my home. No, we really need you here, and that, I mean, I already knew something was up. You're just trying to stick me in there because you can't get anybody to work with this fucking idiot. But no one wants to deal with this fucking idiot. So you think that I'm going to deal with it. And at least, you know, if you know the situation, do something about it. Refuse to. So I had a very nice email that went out to everyone. At the end of it, I wasn't so nice because I gave people my exact opinion of them for how they talked to me, how they treated me, and how they treated everyone else. And I said, the fact that you guys send out these passive-aggressive emails talking the most shit ever to people, talking down to people. Like, imagine somebody who's not even your fucking boss, even if they were, emailing you in front of everyone, you are to follow my orders and my orders only. You are to follow my orders closely. You need to reply back to this email to make sure that you understand. Bitch, who are you talking to? And that's exactly the fuck I said. Because do you think anybody from the executive team looked at that email that they're included on and said, wait a minute, this is not appropriate. This is not how you should be talking to a new employee. It's not how you should be talking to a manager. It's not how you should be talking to anybody. Especially when you're not their fucking boss. So I got to deal with this bitch who's supposed to be doing catering. Like, you need to go ahead and get some new catering clients because you haven't gotten us any. All of these orders come in through DoorDash and Easy Caterer. People are going to the websites themselves. So what the fuck are you doing besides coming in every restaurant, because I've already been told about you by several managers of what you did to them, how you spoke to them, how you're trying to tell them how to run their shop by saying, oh, well, your store shouldn't be this busy. How the fuck would you know? Get your Humpty Dumpty looking ass the fuck in here, bitch, and do this job. You cannot. I give you one fucking day. They would fall on their fucking face. But that's what you have to deal with. And because it was allowed, that showed me that everything that people said about the CEO and the HR person, because there's only one person, as you know, there's only one CEO, but there's only one person doing HR, their assistant fucking quit on them because of how they talk to people and treat people. Wow. And look at all the people, all the restaurants each day, we're constantly texting, we can't get a dishwasher, we can't get a barista, we can't get a server, we can't get all these people. I wonder fucking why. And then the managers are disgruntled because they're the ones having to pull the double shifts. Duh. Who the fuck wants to be stuck somewhere doing a double shift? They want a life. They can't even plan. And guess what? Salary ain't worth it. Ain't enough fucking money. It's not enough money. And that's how they get away with that. They say, well, your salary, you got to work as many hours. First of all, that's why I didn't want that's why I didn't want that fucking job. Because I've had jobs that were salaried as managers. And yes, you will be working 10, 12. You would expect a 10-hour day as a manager. That's not a big deal. 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours. Come the fuck on. Like, really. And you're held hostage. You can't leave because remember, you're salaried. So you may have a schedule of the hours you're going to be there, but it's not guaranteed. And then whoever is running the schedule, who do you think they're going to give their best hours to? Themselves. They don't want to be working late nights. They don't want to be they have just put their hours to be almost like banking hours. How unfair. You know, you have to rotate. Nobody wants to work every single fucking weekend. That's crazy. Especially if they're giving you full-time availability. You rotate people. Nope. So the baristas, the cooks, everyone is complaining that they're sick of working every fucking weekend. You know, they might get a day off here or a day off there, but it's so inconsistent. You know what I like to do? Give people 2 days off in a row. That gives them like a mini vacation, like myself. I like to travel. And it's ironic that I had mentioned that to the general manager that, hey, you know, I like to have my 2 days off because I like to travel. Sure enough, he started fucking with my schedule once I pulled him up on some behaviors. But he expects me to cover for him when he needs to go leave to go do something. Or they fucked up the schedule. They knew that their hours increased. Okay, so the location is supposed to close at 8. They're saying, well, you can't refuse anybody up until 8:05. No, sorry. If you close at a certain time, then that is the time that you're closed. When you continuously take people after that time, no. You lock your doors a few minutes before. You have to have one door open for people to come out, obviously. But you make it clear that this is closing time. This will be the last person that will be seated, the last person that will be seated, whatever the case may be. And then they're saying, oh, well, you can't break down anything. You can't do anything. Everything has to wait. But you only have them on the schedule for 30 minutes. How the fuck do you expect people to get out in 30 minutes? You know it's not going to happen. So what you need to do is have their schedule set till 9. That gives them enough to... Oh, here's the kicker. People can stay in the restaurant while they're closed. No, that is a safety issue for the employees for a number of reasons. When you are closed, there should be nobody in your store, nobody in your restaurant. You know, I know restaurants are different because they seat people, but it gets to a point where you have to stop seating people at a certain time because the dishwashers need all those dishes so they can get out on time. Everybody needs things to be done so they can get out on time. such a nightmare. And to see people being mistreated, I was not going to sit back and just say, okay, I knew that I would be next. And that's exactly what happened. In 2 short weeks, all the horror stories that I was told about this manager were absolutely true. So was I set up from the very beginning? I absolutely was. By them promoting, first of all, the guy that they promoted to regional manager, he had only been a general manager with them for 3 months. How do you decide that in 3 months to take a leap like that, to go from running one store to being the operational manager for all the stores? And he did not do a good job whatsoever. Because obviously I could tell from the moment I came in, the restaurant was filthy, and they have cameras, and I had to clean and do the proper food training, because none of their people that handle food have the serve safe. So different jurisdictions have them. They have locations in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So I have to know the laws in each jurisdiction, and I look them up to make sure. I had to tell them, yeah, if you have food managers, they have that certification. It has to be posted. It has to be posted where it's visibly seen. If the health department comes through here, you guys will be shut down in a minute, in an instant. Thank goodness I called the health department on their asses, and they better have my fucking paycheck, because then that'll be a whole nother suit. And who wants to go through that? And yes, I've had companies literally try to withhold my final paycheck because I left. Too bad, so sad. I gave you proper warning several times about these issues, and if they were not going to be changed, I would be walking out the door. I'm sorry, not sorry that you didn't take me seriously. I guess they thought I needed the money that bad. And I've been there, done that in my career when I was a young woman in college trying to make it, and you needed the money. And I didn't need it that bad then, and I don't need it that bad now, because I'm already getting bookings. I have plenty of options. And that's one of the things I sit down with employees and explain. You have options. You have a lot of skills. Here are some of the companies that I recommend to you. And I'll be a reference for you. Because a lot of times, all they need is a good reference. They know. They don't want to tell the people that they're leaving or trying to leave, because then they'll give them a bad reference. Duh. Or they will, try to gaslight you into staying by promising you the moon, stars, and the sun, which happens to me all the time. But I still want to leave it, because it's too little too late. Sorry, but you had an opportunity. I came to you. I sat down with you. I told you these issues. I told you what the employees were dealing with, what the customers were saying, the operational issues, and nothing has been addressed. So I'm out of here. Like Shark Tank. And for that reason, I'm out. I'm going to pitch my experience and my expertise directly to the corporate offices, directly to these HR departments, right? Because that's what I've done before, and it was highly successful. That's how I would be paid to come in the store, act as a new employee, and go through and observe everything without anybody knowing, especially without the people that are causing the issues knowing. And then I could report back to them what my observations were. Who are the employees that I spoke with? What did they say? What needed to be changed? The whole nine. And yes, I'm going to wash my hair today. Today's wash day. So I'm pulling it all out. So one of the things I'm glad, I no longer have to wear a fucking ponytail all the time, because can't have hair in the food. Can't have hair and, a lot of things. I'm so glad that how you see me dressed now is how I like to dress, and how I normally dress when I do work. So I'm very excited that I've taken control of my career after running into these same issues with a number of companies in the corporate office. Say, yeah, I know the disconnect between all your operations, and here's how you can fix them. And that's what I miss. That's what I enjoy, because then the companies paid me to do the work that I'm doing, and I showed them that it is to benefit them. Having a business advisor, somebody that can come in your business from the outside and make the changes that need to be made internally by working with the people internally, but also being brutally honest to the people that are in charge. I highly recommend that people go work for lawyers. That's probably why I love that show Suits, because you will see that nobody has time for games. And the facts are the facts. Simple as that. And if you're not doing what the fuck you need to be doing, well, obviously, you gotta go. A lot of places will not tolerate, professional, will not tolerate the kind of behaviors that I've seen. People literally coming to work, highly intoxicated, drinking on the job, drugging on the job, going in the fucking bathroom to do drugs, going in the parking lot to go smoke crack in their cars. I caught their asses one time. True fucking story. Caught them lighting the crack pipe. Oh, so this is what the fuck you guys do when you're on break. And if I see it, everybody else sees it. And this is why you guys keep fucking shit up and always talking about drugs. Because you're doing it just like I fucking thought you were. If I didn't accuse you. Let's wait to get the evidence. If a person has a drug problem, your ass is going to rehab. You're going to get the help that you need if you want to keep your job. That's the kind of person that I am. I'm going to give you the help that you need if you have a situation. But there are certain things, obviously, that are unacceptable. Drinking at the job, on the clock, with people, and you fucking shit up? Absolutely not. You know? You need to wait till after your break. Not after your break, but after your shift. You want to drink so that damn bad? After your shift, I will buy you a drink. You can sit your ass down and be a customer, take off your uniform, have your drink, and go. I mean, damn, I'm a real person. I'm just saying. And so, you know, a person's coming in late, then we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how do you get to work? What are ways, what are tips that I can give you? And I've had to do that. The lady told me that she lived across town, so she has to catch many buses. So, sat down, we looked at, I know how to catch public transportation. We sat down. I showed her different routes that she could take. How leaving 15 minutes early, getting up 15 minutes early, and leaving 15 minutes early would guarantee her an extra 30 minutes to get to work on time. And that before she starts work, if she needs to have her coffee, she needs to have a cigarette, whatever it is, she's got enough time for that. But when you're rushing to work, you're trying to beat that clock, then when you get to work, you're frustrated, you're flustered. You have things that you need to do. Yeah. And you know, the employees that listen, it betters them and it betters their ability. Employee doesn't want to listen, I won't waste my time with you. Nope. Don't come to me about anything, because you've had the opportunity to correct your behavior, and I've given you an opportunity. I've given you several, and I've worked with you, and I've given you the benefit of the doubt, and I've tried to help you. Then you gotta go. Oh no, they'll still keep them on board, and then they wonder why shit is fucked up. Nobody has time for that. So, with that being said, I have a lot of work to do. Set your priorities, set your boundaries, and know at the end of the day that you gotta look out for you and what's best for you. Have a great day.